I'm sorry, 55 and a half. That was a lock. It came in at 45, so you won by 10 points there. And we also locked up the Montana State over. That was one of our live picks. So that was me and Roman. Both had one win from our live picks from discussing the show. Unfortunately, we lost real bad on SMU first half. The line was, I think, 16 and a half at close, and they didn't even win in the first half. So that
As soon as he smacked old buddy in the face mask and got absolutely destroyed, I knew then it was over.
Yeah. Really no hope there. Did not see anything from Preston White, SMU QB at all to show that he was like an early Heisman front runner. So that's just proof ESPN never trust it.
Well, yeah, and obviously it's CBS Sports. Trying to get some ratings. You're trying to drum up any type of viewership they could for SMU Nevada.
Yeah, and then we close the night. Delaware State and Hawaii. I think the line got all the way up to 40, and then they only won by 21. So Hawaii is no longer one of those darling teams in week 0, week 1 that you always had to play. I was actually in the West Coast of wedding during this game. Didn't really get to see it at all, but really, really disappointing showing. Under came in. I know Roman was talking about the over. It wasn't an official pick, but that was wrong. The team total, Hawaii never came through. Just absolutely shelled at every facet of the game in those picks later on in the day. Sometimes that goes to show, maybe 12 o'clock is our window. We're going to have to figure these things out early in the season, work on the kinks. But again, it's 4-5 combined record. And Josh, you had our sole unblemished record today, or last Saturday.
Hey, man, never let me, not take an opportunity to do a victory lap, because I'll definitely do that every time. So, week 0 champ. Hopefully, I can use some of that forward momentum in some of my picks that have been critiqued throughout the group chat, and hopefully it'll help some of our viewers get some money in the bank. So we'll see how it pans out, and so if we want to go ahead and preview the first game of the season this year for the Vols. Let's go ahead and talk the Tennessee Chattanooga.
Yep. It should be a nice, easy dub for Tennessee. I don't really see any concerns. I think it would be a good startup game for our secondary. Should be enough of a challenge for Tennessee's defensive back so that they could gain some confidence. Playing well, playing as a unit. I'm not really worried about our D-line. That's probably our strength with a projected lottery.
You got Amari Thomas. You got number 27, projected first round pick.
Yep.
James Pierce there coming off the edge. So, yeah, front seven, not really worried about. You got Keenan Peely coming back from injury, at the middle linebacker spot. So it's going to be good. Maybe first half, get a lot of run, get some reps in for those guys. But then obviously we're gonna get some young guys, hopefully a lot of playing time, with like 6 minutes left in the second quarter. So, one guy that I'm going to be kind of intrigued to see how Josh Heupel kind of deals with the reps that he gets is, Cam Seldon. So he's coming off an injury. He's cleared for full contact, but I don't know if you kind of sit that guy out, in prep for the NC State game. But I think Chattanooga is kind of an intriguing matchup to where you kind of give him an opportunity to knock some of the rust off. So we'll see how Josh Heupel handles that. But running back depth is really important, as we've seen throughout the years in the SEC. Like having a good uh, pool of depth and quality running backs has been really crucial for a lot of schools. Namely, Alabama, Georgia coming up, to top of mind with that. They've notoriously had great deep backfield. So we want to keep everybody healthy. So, but we also want to give them some confidence, and especially with the guy coming back off injury, I think that's real crucial to get him some reps, to get him some confidence back after the rehab. And Brew McCoy, what do you think about Brew? Do you think? I mean, he's coming back from a very catastrophic injury against South Carolina with that compound fracture that he had in his leg last year. What do you see rotation wise? Do you think Brew is in for the majority of the game, or do you think Josh is going to get him in and out?
I mean, I think we won't necessarily need him for the whole game versus Chattanooga, but honestly, I'm the type of person that believes in giving guys reps when they are healthy. Nothing prepares you for the game like the game, and should be a good, again, confidence builder. So I think that it's really imperative for him to get used to playing against D1 competition again, and also just really, be confident with the leg. As someone who has had a leg injury in the past, it's very important to get into those places where you're cutting, you're making sharp moves over again. Obviously, I can't make any type of move close to Brew McCoy, but just saying that.
Be an athlete, be an athlete, man. You're good. You got it.
It's an important part of rehab, right? Like even if you go back to like Derrick Rose and stuff, like it took him years to get the confidence back.
And that was just off of an ACL. I mean, we all kind of remember it was one of those you wanted to kind of look away from.
Yeah.
unless you had some morbid thoughts there. But yeah, man, Brew coming back off injury, that's going to be huge for Tennessee. So excited to see how that works out. And to your point, the mobility and dexterity that he's going to need moving forward to have a successful 2024 campaign. But Ball's coming in as a 38.5 point favorite over the Mocs. So do you think, I know that's not in our picks, but just for the home team, and because this is a podcast devoted to Tennessee sports, what are you taking on that one, Naveen?
I'm going to go with the Tennessee team total. It's not, I don't have a line for it out yet, but it should be somewhere in the 40s. I think that I do have some betting trends for the game. Chattanooga is 2-4 against the spread in their last 6 games. Chattanooga is 0-10 straight up in their last 10 games. Chattanooga is 0-12 straight up in their last 12 road games. Tennessee is 11-4 straight up in their last 15 games, and 15-1 straight up in their last 16 games at home.
All versus the spread?
Straight up is
straight up. Okay.
Yeah. So
okay.
Basically telling you that there's no way Tennessee loses this game. I would say that 30.5, very tough to control for garbage time touchdowns. What if it's 45-7?
It's that damn backdoor cover at the end of the game. You're sweating. But this is one of those games that, for you being a sweat vet, you love these type of matchups. It really gets the degen sweat percolating and at a full throat here.
Yeah, and it's important to watch this for other games where we should be heavy favorites, because we'll get to know what Josh Heupel's tendencies are, and at what point in the third quarter will he start to play different types of players? At one point in the fourth quarter, does he just take Nico out? Those type of things will be all in play. Yeah. And we should hopefully get to see one of our pipeline of 5-star rookies come into the game, right? we've got so many of them now. 5-star QBs or 4-star QBs is sitting on the bench, so maybe we'll get to see one of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see some of the backups get some run, but FPI has this game, Tennessee, with a 99% chance to win. No doubt they're going to win the game. I just hope it doesn't show up as a repeat of last year's Austin P. Because, if you would have thought last year against Austin P they were going to cover, it was probably a crazy spread like this, and they didn't cover the spread. So first game of the year, I think the Tennessee, they're going to be wearing the new smoky grays. I know we kind of previewed that over the summer and one of our shows. Not the hugest fan of the new smoky grays. It's not a huge fan of the smoky grays in general. I'm not one of the guys or a Tennessee fan that's, we shouldn't wear anything but orange and white. But it's, I think there's a way that it can be done. I'm just not the biggest fan of this iteration. So we have one more with Nike that should come out next year. So I'm kind of excited to see how that looks. But anyway, the smoky grays typically get the players, excited about the game and the fans too. So some people call it a gimmick. I don't care. Whatever gets the team up, and sometimes it's hard to get up for teams like Chattanooga because you just know what it's going to be. So.
Yeah. I mean, to me, there's no reason why a 50 burger is not in sight for this game. I would
first 50 burger announcement here, man.
Yeah, okay. I would like to see Josh Heupel really show no mercy and get to 50 points in this game. You can expect maybe one score from Chattanooga. Wouldn't be too pissed off at a 52-7 kind of game. Cover the over. Cover everything, 38.5. Never in doubt. But, always that lingering possibility of that one Hail Mary for my sweats to ruin stuff or solidify stuff either way. But, if we look around the league, there's tons of teams facing, bigger challenges in the SEC and outside the SEC. So, one thing about this extended week one is that we'll see some ranked matchups across the league, and it's important to jump out to a strong start because, as we all know, SEC schedules are meant to break you, right? There's not really, unless you're Texas.
Absolutely.
Unless you're Texas.
Come on.
There's not much.
They did get a gift this year. You're not wrong.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying they're going to win all over the board, but I'm just saying, once you're introduced to the SEC, you should have some decent opponents consistently. So we'll see that with our schedule. We'll see that with most of the other teams we're used to schedule as well. We do have some picks from us and from our resident picker. He's actually right now on a flight to Europe, but I'll start with him. He's saying Utah minus 38.5 is a massive lock. Navy under 47.5. Not a believer in that triple option, I guess. His hometown.
Does Navy still do triple option?
I think they still do. Mostly
I know the academies do that a lot. I'm like, that's the first doo-doo of the 2024 football season too, by the way. Shout out to everybody watching me have bad English. But I've not really seen a lot of triple option lately outside of Army. Now I know Army historically runs a lot of triple option, but Navy, I know they were trying to get away from that a little bit under their last coach. I know they just fired I think he was from Hawaii or Samoan guy. I can't remember. I want to be politically correct with all that stuff, but I don't know where he wound up going. But he was incorporating a couple of different things outside of just the triple option. But anyway, Roman's not having any faith in the midshipmen this week. Hate to see it.
And he's going with Texas minus 31.5. Western Kentucky plus 31.5. apparently, according to Roman, they're going to be challenging Kalen DeBoer and the Bama Boys. So look for a
Western Kentucky,
that's his pick. That's his pick.
the
I'm not-
Hilltoppers, huh?
Yep.
Okay, all
Uh,
right.
maybe maybe nice and close 28-point loss, something of that sort. I don't know if I'm on the
man.
same side as that. I think they're going to get mollywopped.
Yeah, I think a mollywop is definitely a good way to describe that. I can see easily it could be like a 58-0.
Yeah. And then he closes the week out with Michigan State minus 13.5 versus FAU. Honestly, I try to avoid Big Ten when I don't have to.
Michigan, yeah, Michigan man taking Sparty, huh?
Yep. So he'd know better there. Our resident Big 18 expert,
Big 18.
Roman. So he's got those picks, and we'll track him and make sure he's honest with them. So coming off a 1-3 week, he owes you, the viewer, quite the number of locks.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen anybody that contributes to a gambling sports podcast do any worse in a week's worth of gambling picks than Roman. So for the 3 people that are watching this show, and my lovely wife's probably one of them. Thanks for supporting the brand. I will say, I caution you to ever listen to any of the, if it says best bets Roman, it's not Roman like coming from Rome. It's the Michigan man. And I would say unequivocally fade his ass every single time. If he's telling you Michigan State minus 13.5, go whoever they're playing. Who's Michigan State playing?
FAU.
Go FAU plus 13.5.
Mm-hmm.
The Owls will be plus 13.5. Mark it down. So fade Roman. If you want to make prudent, risk adverse gambling picks, the odds say fade Roman.
Okay. Fair enough. Shout out to our 3 listeners. Shout out Kayla. Thank you for the support as always.
Hey, if any of our listeners have picks, please share them. Comment
send them
them.
Send them through. We need your help.
If you're on X, if you're on YouTube, go ahead, put, if you agree, disagree with any of these picks, agree or disagree with anything we're saying, or if you want to chime in with your pick of the week, we're down to discuss, make fun of your pick if it's stupid, or agree with it if it's logically sound. So, that's kind of like what we do amongst each other on the show every week. So, Naveen, didn't mean to cut you off, but I did see we have, some eyeballs on the show tonight, and I just wanted to give them a little shout out there.
Yeah, for sure. +1, we're at 4. I just wanted to say thank you for joining us. We will be going live after the Tennessee game, so look out for more Twitter lives, YouTube lives, anywhere we can get to lives for this, every week of football action that we can get to. I'll go to my picks. All right, I'll start off with the last game of the week, which is a Sunday game. There's a Monday game, but there's the only Sunday game, Sunday night, LSU at USC. Give me USC plus 4.5. I just think that, people might think they end up in a lull after Caleb Williams starts or leaves the team, but I think it's actually the opposite. You'll have Lincoln Riley with a fresh QB that he's been grooming, and he's picked for the squad. I think it's a win or kind of get fired type season for him.
For Lincoln Riley?
I think so.
You think so, man? I don't know. I think he's got, Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams 2 years ago. He's bought a little bit of equity. I think he, obviously they're moving to the Big 18 this year. And, I think the people out in LA will give him at least another year I don't know that the seat gets boiling hot, but it gets warm. Oh, okay. Brian Kaltenecker coming in with the Brian Kelly hot seat take. Hey man, I completely agree. Brian Kelly, he's got to perform at LSU this year. What's your thoughts on that one, Naveen?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's exactly why I'm going with USC. It doesn't seem like I definitely don't trust what's his name? Nussmeyer. He's not good. Jaden Daniels ain't back there.
Yeah, Nussmeyer is not, Jaden Daniels or life size Macaulay Culkin, Joe Burrow. So I don't know if LSU is going to have the season that they're accustomed to having. And it's crazy to think LSU is only 4 seasons removed from a natty, and they've spiraled so quickly and down the drain. Outside of the bright spot of Jaden Daniels winning the Heisman, which we all know that's kind of a political award all in itself. I quit caring about the Heisman Trophy when Peyton Manning got robbed for a famous Raider player that I know Brian Kaltenecker will love forever. Yeah, he'll remain nameless on this show. But yeah, he robbed Peyton. The voters robbed Peyton. So to me, the Heisman Trophy is a joke, and could care less. But anyway, back to your picks, Naveen. We got we're at Arizona, New Mexico, or
okay. Arizona, New Mexico over 58.5. I really was impressed by Noah Fifita last year, the Arizona QB. I think he can do some good work. Starting off ranked for the first time in a while, Arizona number 21 seed. New Mexico is complete Swiss cheese. Don't even worry about it. Gave up 35 to Montana State. Look for Arizona to also be on 50 Burger Watch. I don't want to throw out burgers. I don't want to throw out
it's like freaking McDonald's on the show tonight, man. You're dropping 50 burgers on everybody.
Yeah, dude. But I think it's time to set the tone. If Montana State can light you up for 35, there's no reason why Arizona can't increase that. I really think that this is going to be a pretty huge game in terms of production for Arizona's offense, and they will need it, and they don't need to win pretty handily if they have any, dreams of playoffs in the future. Not saying they'll get there, but if they're on the cusp, they need to demolish these shit. So,
okay.
My next pick, we'll head back down south, Troy, Alabama.
Hey.
minus 8.5. They're playing Nevada. Nevada, we saw last week as well. Not the greatest of teams. They covered against SMU. So maybe people are thinking, Nevada's not that bad. I really think the lesson from last week is that SMU is that bad. Nevada just, hung in close. So I'm going to take the traditional Vegas stance of if you covered last week, you're not going to do it again. Give me Troy minus 8.5. Big lock here.
Yeah, biggest simp bet, alert of the week is Troy minus 8.5. It is trappy. Vegas wants you to think like Naveen's thinking right now, but I don't know. I'm going with Nevada, man. When they showed me a little bit of something, last week against SMU. I don't disagree that SMU revealed their hand to be kind of a crappy team this season. I don't think SMU is going to be worth a damn, but I also think Nevada showed some signs of life, and I think it'll be a different matchup than you're calling here, Naveen. But you did go 500 last week, so maybe that'll be in the good bunch of picks this week. So who knows? But just my gut feeling.
Yeah,
give me Nevada.
I mean, it was hard work carrying the squad over the summer. I think I went like 75% when there was no basketball or football to bet. So I was like, all right.
Yeah, when we
Let
were
me let it fly.
scraping the bottom of the barrel for any type of bets to find or content, you did you probably have scoliosis of the back now because you shouldered and carried so much weight, man. So I do appreciate what you did for Lucky Top Sports during the last 90 days.
No problem. All right. My next one, Ohio State 1/2 spread. I'm seeing a lot of different numbers here, but it should be something like 20, anywhere from 24.5 to 26.5 for the first half. The full game spread is 48.5. Ohio State takes on, famous in-state rivals Akron. So be ready for a slugfest. All of you have played NCAA 2025 by now, and you know who's deadly with that spin move, who's deadly in the pass game, who's deadly in the run game.
Do you think that equates? Do you think that equates to real life?
When you play Akron, it does. I don't think
okay.
I think it should go exactly how the video game goes versus Akron.
Okay.
But not versus real opponents. Not like it's not going to happen versus Oregon or Michigan.
I was about to say, I'm just going to go super sim an entire season for all the teams, and then I'm going to base my gambling picks off super sim results. I wouldn't advise anybody to do that, but it's a way.
But yeah, like look for them to go out on an early lead. So the spread here is actually, Chip Kelly going to keep the foot on the gas the whole game. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
So I mean, Brian is from Ohio, right? So he has some intimate knowledge about the I guess the love-hate relationship between teams like Akron, Ohio, and Ohio State. There's a team in Indiana that he pulls for. We'll talk about a little bit later. They wear gold helmets and they haven't won anything since 1988. But I'm sure Brian can add a little bit more perspective when it comes to this rivalry between the Zips and the Buckeyes. So Chip Kelly, hey, I mean, he did leave UCLA to go to Ohio State to be offensive coordinator. So, I mean, he's going to run it up. So I agree with you on that one, Brian. Naveen, you think Brian's right on this one?
I mean, yeah, I hate to throw the burger word again, but
another burger. This is like Whataburger at this point. Cut the check. Whataburger sponsor us.
I think
Whataburger.
Like
50 spot.
I'm just throwing those sliders out, at this point.
A 50 sack?
Dude, the spread is literally 49.
My gosh.
They're implying 50 burger here.
Okay.
So
Brian Kaltenecker, is Brian Kelly, is he going to hang a 50 burger? Hit us in the chat, man. Let us know what you think. Any of the other, OSU hasn't lost to a team from Ohio since 1921. Whoa. Good pull. Ohio football historian, Brian Kaltenecker. He's a doctor during the day, but moonlights as a Ohio State football historian. Good pull. That's SID. It's SID kind of work. And he also says, any guesses as to who? What are your thoughts? Who do you think was the last Ohio team to beat Ohio State?
Oh, man. No idea.
It was probably Akron. If he's asking, it has to be a trick question. Akron. I'm going to go with Akron. Team.
Probably Akron. Or Toledo.
Yeah, because I think they Toledo maybe, or yeah. The Ohio Bobcats, I don't know if they were a wrecking ball crew back in 1921. But yeah, bated breath. Oh man, Oberlin College. I've never even heard of that. They're probably like NAIA now. That's like, when Tennessee used to play like Sewini or whatever, the University of the South. So you've probably never heard of them, or when Tulane was in the SEC back when it was a charter member. But yeah, good pull, Oberlin College. You ever heard of that place, Naveen?
I actually because I think it's like a really good music school. My friend I
Oh,
think he is like in an orchestra, and he went to Oberlin College.
okay,
I wouldn't have known that otherwise, but famous movie. Okay,
okay, all right.
all right,
Famous movie.
you're
Euro
you're okay.
trip.
Okay,
Okay, all right. Good. Man, good pull again, Brian. Like I'd forgotten about that. The main character goes to Oberlin.
I
Man.
remember he had a pen pal that he thought his name was Mike, and it was a super hot German chick called Mika.
Yes. And that's when I first learned about how sketch hostels were in like Eastern Europe. Like, I had the great opportunity to live in Germany for a few years and got to travel to some places. And I tried to steer clear of all the Baltic areas and anything that was close to Russia. So that Euro trip scared the absolute shit out of me when I saw that. So yeah.
All right,
Uh,
my
last
last two
pick.
picks
Yabba
here.
dabba do. Here we go.
Last two picks here. This is going against all logic here. I just know that it's a tough place to play in September. Give me Florida plus 2.5 versus Miami.
Boo.
And I'll. Oh, sorry. This is Clemson, Ohio. Clemson, Georgia. I actually wanted
You should go.
Georgia.
I was about to say, man, that's pretty impressive. Oh man, don't throw up my stuff, man.
Hold on. I got to.
Oh wow. All right. So trained radio professionals here.
Yep. So last pick of the day is Georgia minus 13.5.
Okay.
And this is the beginning of the end of Dabo Sweeney's run at Clemson. He's going to lose this game. He might lose another game as well. And if he doesn't get into college football playoff this year, he will be out. So this is the beginning of the.
You think this is it? You think Dabo?
I think he's
Dabo's
going to
out?
join.
You think
Yeah,
he's fired at the end of the year?
I don't think he might leave, honestly. If he doesn't get fired, he might leave altogether. I just think he kind of thinks like Nick Saban. And it's like, okay, like if they're going to give me some kind of cushy job at a network, maybe I'll do that while things cool down with NIL or things of that sort.
If you're Dabo, is 2 national championships enough for you?
If they were spaced out more, I think it would be. But he just had that success with Trevor Lawrence and Deshaun Watson, and then since then, we haven't really heard from him. Right? It's been a long time coming for Dabo.
What 2017 was that, or 2018?
Yeah,
last national championship for Clemson.
Yeah, so it's been a while. He's not really adapting to the time, so he could see it as a last hurrah here. That's just my extra pick there. Georgia wins and Dabo leaves after the end of the year.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, well, I don't have a exhaustive list like Rome and Naveen. I'm going to try to keep mine very concise here. West Virginia, I talked about it last week's show where, I was ridiculed. I was made fun of and mocked by Roman because he thinks Penn State's going to win the national championship this year. You go back to last week's show, episode 32. He'll tell you all about it. It's very entertaining take there, to say the least. But he's not here to defend himself, so I won't pile on his stupid ass pick for picking Penn State to win or make it to the playoffs. But West Virginia is going to cover, man. I really have a strong feeling about West Virginia. They may not win. It'll probably be like a field goal game. Penn State will squeak it out. James Franklin will live to fight another day. But the Mountaineers at home, I think they got a good squad. They're right on that outside cusp of like a top 30 team. So give me the Mountaineers, man. Plus 8.5. And then, we had our boy Brian K on here commenting a little bit. We got Notre Dame plus 2.5 against the Aggies of Texas A&M. And for me, you know, they're like, Josh, well, why are you picking Notre Dame, you know, against A&M? Because, hey, man, Mike Elko, he hasn't proved anything to me. What did he do? He won like 8 or 9 games at Duke. Okay, I mean, lackluster ACC. No, nothing really impressive to me. You got to prove it to me when you get the SEC. I don't care that he's at Texas A&M. When Jimbo got fired last year, I think there was a big overhaul of the roster. There's been a lot of turnover, so and even that team wasn't very good. They underperformed constantly, even with Jimbo. And honestly, I think Jimbo's a better coach than Mike Elko. I know that Jimbo's fired and whatever, sure, but the pedigree there for Jimbo's, I think there's a lot of depth there compared to as far as resume goes, comparatively to Mike Elko. So until the Aggies can show that they're a functional program moving forward, give me Notre Dame. Notre Dame has a lot to play for this year, and I think they match up really well to blow this plus 2.5. I mean, I really think it's going to be probably on the higher side of maybe like a 10-point win for Notre Dame. Any of the listeners out there, Brian, this is your time to shine, man. If you're still on the show, your Golden Domers out there, Notre Dame going down to take on the Aggies. So feel free to chime in. But Naveen, any thoughts about my picks? Should you fade me? Should you not?
You know what? This week, I do like the West Virginia plus 8.5. I think you got some value there. Vegas not completely sold on Penn State. Otherwise, it would be double digits. So they're kind of factoring that in there. Whenever I see an 8.5, the susometer kind of ticks.
It's pinging, man. It's like, strong.
It's like, why isn't this 10? Why isn't this 10.5? So again, I think Penn State traveling to West Virginia for this one. So it should be a close game. Texas A&M, Notre Dame. I think that. Do we know if Carson Beck is good? I think he's pretty good.
Carson Beck is not good.
Carson Beck is not good. Okay.
Personally, I don't think he's good. I think he's got a lot of weapons around him. I think he's got a hell of an offensive line. And again, going back to the stable of running backs that Georgia has, I mean, I just, Brian, to answer your question, no, Carson Beck's not good. Does he have a lot of weapons? Yes. Is he, that term that gets thrown out a lot, game manager? Yeah. I mean, he's like Stetson Bennett 2.0. In my mind, Carson Beck is Stetson Bennett 2.0. He did have a tight end that was just an unimaginable athlete last year. Thank God he's gone. We don't have to deal with him anymore. He came back from tightrope surgery in like 5 weeks. The dude was an animal. But Carson Beck again, I think he's like value brand Stetson Bennett, but he gets it done.
Yeah, I think it's one of those cases where he doesn't really have to be that good. Like, he doesn't have to put up Joe Burrow. Not even Stetson. I mean, got to put some respect on Stetson's name. He's got 2 natties under him, right? So,
sure. I mean, but he's also got a lot of rehabs in him too. But anyway, that's enough about Georgia. We'll have plenty of opportunities to talk about Georgia. But Brian, he chimes in about Notre Dame, questions on the O-line. First time not starting a senior in a long time. So got some younglings on the O-line for the Irish. So I don't think that's going to be a big issue for you guys. I think you're going to lean heavily on your defense. I think you would agree to that, especially with your head coach. That's kind of his forte. But Aggies, they got a long way to go to prove it to me. So it's going to be a tough environment. Yeah, sure. 12th man, whatever. But, it's pretty easy to go in there and quieten those folks down. So we'll see.
Yeah. I think those are pretty solid picks. I I do agree with Brian that it is a tough environment to go into, but Notre Dame should be a good enough team. If they're really the 7th ranked team in the country, they should win. Okay, might take a half for them to gel. Yeah, that's a fair point. Anytime you have a new line starting, it should take a while. I guess you're missing Joe Alt from last year, so key piece in the machinery there. I wanted to take a look around the league at some other games that we haven't really talked about. I'll just go through the rest of the SEC and see what we can come up with as a prediction. So we got Arkansas versus Arkansas Pine Bluff. If Sam Pittman doesn't want to get fired on week 1, he's got to win that. Missouri versus Murray State, kind of following our cupcake route, 46.5 spread there. Burger alert. Oklahoma, one of their few winnable games on the season, minus 42.5 versus Temple on Friday night. Bama minus 32 versus Western Kentucky. Again, that's one of Roman's picks. We just talked about Clemson and Georgia, 13.5 for Georgia there. And Virginia Tech at Vandy, minus 13. Might be a sneaky spot to take Vandy plus here. I don't think Virginia Tech is that great of a team, and Vandy, I think, might not necessarily win, but maybe they can cover the 13 there. Just some thoughts going in. Tennessee, Chattanooga. Again, we talked about it, 38.5 line, 57 on the over-under. I really think that Miami versus Florida is going to be one of the closer games. I'm not as sold on Miami as the pundits are. Miami getting a 19 seed here. So I think this is another case where, ESPN is trying to push an agenda on you. So be a little wary on that. They do have transfer of Cam Ward coming into Miami. He is a strong QB. I watched a lot of him late night in Pac-12.
Man, that's going to be something that we're going to miss a lot this year, man. The Pac-12 at dark,
Yeah, I mean, it was just great having games started at 10:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
It'd run all the way to like 3 a.m.
Yep. So it's great to see those games, and yeah, we will miss them. I wonder, what happens when. Well, I think they're just going to have a lot of afternoon starts now that they're in the Big 18, those Pac-12 teams. So, or at least half of them are going to do that. It looks like Sunday's game versus LSU is a 7:30 start, so 4:30 start Pacific for USC. And so rounding out the rest of the SEC, we got Texas minus 32 versus Colorado State. That's one of Roman's picks. Chase said South Carolina is going to dominate Old Dominion. So
God, here we go. We got Chase Cox chiming in. Leave it to him, man. Yeah. Resident South Carolina fan, leave it to him to come in and talk about how they're going to beat lowly Old Dominion. If that was going to be one of my 3 wins, I guess I'd be pretty pumped about it too. So shout out to Chase and Gamecock Nation. Yeah, get cocky, bro.
Mississippi State minus 25.5 versus Eastern Kentucky. No real thoughts there. Mississippi State is going to win. I don't know about the 25.5. Ole Miss versus Furman.
Ole Miss and Furman, yeah, that one's going to be fun. I think Ole Miss easily covers.
Yeah,
it's going to be at night. It's going to be in the Grove. It's going to be 7 p.m. SEC Network or ESPN Plus. I think is where the game's going to be. If you're looking to take an early look at the vanilla offensive play calling of Lane Kiffin, that's where you'll see it Saturday night. But the triple option will not be ran at Ole Miss. They're going to be putting up a lot of points against Furman. It's gonna be rough. It's gonna be a hard night for.
Do you wanna say it instead of me saying it?
50 burger, 50 burger lock. Yeah, that's probably gonna be my 50 burger lock. Ole Miss over Furman. Jackson Dart's just gonna be slinging it all over the place, man.
Auburn versus Alabama, and I don't even know if they're gonna televise that kind of rated R game.
Who's that? Say that again. Auburn and Alabama A&M. Oh yeah. The right Reverend. Yeah, Hugh Freeze is he's gonna unload some. Again, it's gonna be a lot of vanilla play calling. This is the week to do that. But I think Auburn again, it's gonna be kind of a culling, so to speak. Yeah. So,
and the last one we got is Kentucky -28 versus Southern Miss.
Give me Southern Miss, man.
Okay, Southern Miss +28. Upset alert there.
Not to win the game. I think they'll cover.
Okay, that's fair. We haven't checked in with our resident Kentucky fan in a while, so maybe if they do.
Yeah, he might be part of the crowd tonight. I don't know. Kyle, he's still in flight school doing his thing, serving our country. Shout out to Kyle, the Kentucky fan, but. It's been a hard time. That poverty program has kind of been they've been down the coal mines all summer. Their coach tried leaving them last year to go to A&M, and A&M renegotiated that really quick, decided against that to hire Mike Elko. But I mean, listen to anybody on the ESPN or SEC Network, and they'll tell you just how great Stoops has done a great job at Kentucky. He averages 8 or 9 wins a game. And that is really good for Kentucky. So they'll continue to do the same, but I think the Fighting Brett Favre's will cover against the Wildcats at the Food City, or excuse me, the Kroger Field. Yeah, wrong grocery store. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah, those are the real topics I wanted to cover today, Josh. Any other things top of mind?
Yeah, man. I just think it's going to be a really, really awesome football season for us here, like Top Sports. I know we've had quite a few folks watching us tonight. We are going to start coming live. I know that there's a lot of shows out there. A lot of people do this kind of like we do, but we have a lot of fun. We're going to do a live reaction show to Chattanooga. Don't know that we'll go very long because, there probably won't be much to talk about other than just colossal beat down from the Vols. That's how it should go. But the following week against NC State, I think that's where it's going to get really interesting. So there'll be a lot to unpack. There'll be a lot to talk about in next week's show. We'll keep you posted. Tuesday nights, it's going to be our nights moving forward. We're going to do these live every Tuesday night. We'll probably go live around 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So no matter where you're watching across this great country or this great land, we'll be coming live to you around that time. Sir Bigger Spur. See, we got all these trolls. So Vol fans, if you're out there, man, let these slack jaw morons that's living in a double wide down in Myrtle Beach. Put them in their place and let them know we're not to be dealt with. Don't come on our show talking shit. Just because you don't play us this season doesn't necessarily mean that you get free reign to just come on here and talk. So what time can people in Iraq watch the show? Let's see. That's a good question. I think it's an 8-hour time difference. Let me see. Let's just double check.
3:49.
I know he's just messing with us. So 3:49. Yeah.
So sometime around 3:30 a.m.
There you go. 3:30 a.m. and also for the ones anywhere in the world, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get a notification. So it'll pop up and you won't worry about it being late. So every Tuesday night, we've had to shift it around. Yeah, Naveen, control that, please. All right, just get rid of it. It's not doing any good. So, but anyway, we will come to you guys live on Tuesday nights, and we will continue to preview our best bets. Obviously, we do have our offers coming from our signupexpert.com/LikeTopSports. So just make sure you go to our patron there. We do have a lot of unique opportunities for you guys to make some money. So if you want to do that and you're in the position to gamble, please do it responsibly. We never tell you to go in and do something that's irresponsible. So Naveen, that's all I got for this week, guys. Naveen, do you got anything else to kind of close us out?
I'll just flash the locks again.
Okay.
Some of the picks.
Some of the picks. These are your locks.
We'll go through all of them. USC +4.5, Arizona over 58.5, Troy -8.5, Ohio State first half, Florida +2.5. Saving Billy Napier's job just until we get him temporarily, and then we got Georgia -13.5. Josh, West Virginia +8.5, and Notre Dame +2.5, and Roman, Utah
we've had some folks trickle in. So all these picks, please fade them. Just do the complete opposite, and you'll be good.
Okay. Thank you, Chase.
He has been Chase. Absolutely, he's been carrying the show for a long time. Yeah, I will not deny that. His acumen on the picks and the show has been great. But we should have a full crew. We might invite some of the naysayers or some enemies of the Tennessee Vols in here next week, like Chase. We might invite him back on the show. We might try to get Kyle. Just kind of preview like how they did against Old Dominion and Southern Miss. Kind of recap that too. So we're open for all dialogue and all discussions. But anyway, it's been really fun. Kind of getting back into the flow of things here, week one. But one thing we didn't talk about before we go, man. Let's talk about Georgia Tech and Florida State.
Oh shit. Yeah, we forgot about that. I think DJ needs to finally hang it up. I think he's 25 years old at this point, on his third college.
He was in the same class as DJ Stroud or CJ Stroud, excuse me, CJ Stroud.
Yeah. I think he's quite a bit older than CJ Stroud too. So this guy, he had a decent passer rating, but no touchdowns, missing Keon Coleman. You can see it on the field. Really, without their running backs and their kicker, they would have put up 0. They are the Yellow Jackets. They don't do that well. And again, we tried to warn Roman last week. You never fade the team that has experience playing internationally. Georgia Tech really really cool. Georgia Tech, really cool performance, man. Like they went out there, they did not lay an egg, and they came out with a dub in Dublin.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was the luck of the Irish, man. We had some huge field goals being kicked, last minute touchdowns being scored. I thought, Florida State was going to, come back there at the end and kind of put them away. That didn't happen. But it couldn't happen to a better bunch. I mean, you saw the way they were acting all offseason, even in the College World Series. It was kind of funny, seeing College Game Day. The debated, he swung, talking about when Tennessee check swung in the College World Series, and we went on to win the national championship despite all of that. And just to see how much they've cried about being left out of the playoffs,
Mhm.
It's screwed over in the College World Series. It literally just validated all of the naysayers and everything everybody said about Florida State being a bunch of pansies and crybabies. They were, not giving Kirk Herbstreit any mercy whatsoever there in Ireland. During College game day, I mean, just lighting it up with booze every time he spoke. But hey. The truth's the truth sometimes, and it's not always an easy reality to accept. But DJU, that's not going to be the answer for Florida State. So Mike Norvell probably needs to go back to the drawing board and kind of reassess.
DJ, you need to get a job. As I saw on the meme page. For our dissenters out there, Sir Big Spur, Kyle, Chase, just want to leave you guys with a message from my man Ric Flair. None of you can be first, but all of you can be next. All you got to do is make the playoff, and we'll see you there, right? We'll see you down the line. We will put the biggest ass whooping on you guys. And, we're here. Fade us at your own risk.
That's right. I think we're going to have a very profitable season this year, not only in wins and losses for the Vols, but hopefully, again, on the picks. So, again, go to Sign Up Expert with BetStamp / Lucky Top Sports. That's where we're going to close it up for this week's show, guys. If you have any comments, please drop them in there. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're going to be bringing you some good content throughout the 2024 football season. This week one, get excited about this weekend, guys. If you're not a Vols fan, your favorite team will be playing, and we have some type of picks to help you get in the the spirit of college football returning. So for Like Top Sports, I'm Josh. And for Naveen, we love you guys. We'll see you again next week. We'll see you on Saturday for our first live reaction of the 2024 season. And then we'll see you next Tuesday night. Love you guys. Be safe out there, and go Vols. Beat Chattanooga's ass.
Go Vols.